Shalom, 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 Israel. Shalom to the 12 tribes that scatter abroad. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome back to the Reading the Bible with your brother, Nehemiah. How y'all doing today, Israel? Man, it's been a rough night last night. It rained all night. Literally. It rained all night. It wasn't heavy. It wasn't raining hard, but it rained all night since it started yesterday around 6 something. It ain't stopped till 4 something this morning. I worked in the rain all night and I'm very tired. But Israel, don't you know this Genesis chapter 40? Just about. It was on my mind all night. I said I got to come home this morning and get on it. I'm tired, but I just got to read at least one of these chapters, if not both. Israel. Before we get started, first we want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. We got to give praise to the Father and the Son, man. I got to. Now, I am Israel, a true seeker of Yahweh. Like, share, subscribe, comment. But today, man, we're reading the Bible. We is in Genesis chapter 40, where we're going to pick up at. But I'm going to throw a little freshen on y'all from 38 and 39, what we read Saturday night. I think that was Saturday night. Okay, in 38, chapter 38, it was talking about Judah. When Judah went down and to this Adulamite named Hare. And he ran into a Canaanite man, Shul. And he married his daughter. This Judah, the son of Jacob and Leah, from the 12 tribes, the fourth brother. So Judah married a Canaanite woman, because her daddy was a Canaanite. So you are what your father is. So he married a Canaanite woman, and he went into the Canaanite woman. That's more marriage. And she conceived and bare him a son named and she bare him another son named Onan, and she bare him a last son named Shelah. Shalaki. Now, Judah went down. This is chapter 38. Judah went down and got his oldest son a wife and brought back to him. I don't think that it mentioned what she was either. Her name was Tamar, though. Nah. Judah firstborn was wicked in their life. Oh, but yeah. Now, when he went and got a wife for his son, it was Tamar. It didn't say that. It didn't say what she was. It said Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord. So he was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. So Judah had said to his other son to go in unto his brother's wife and marry her and raise up a seed to thy brother. But Owen knew that the seed wasn't going to be his. And it came to pass now, when he went in unto her, that he came out and spilled the semen on the ground. And he pissed the Father off with that. He pissed the Most High off with that, and he slew him too. Then Judah told Tamar to go stay with her daddy until his younger son get older. No, and he was gonna give her to him to wife. But that didn't happen. And so Judah's wife ended up dying. On, and Shelah, mother, ended up passing away. So Judah was lonely, so he went down to him and his friend, the Adulamite. They went down to, what's the name of this place? Timnath. Yeah, they went down to Timnath. And Tamar, his daughter-in-law, got the news. So when she got the news, she went and took off her widow and put on veil and cover herself up, and she went and stood down there in front of the way as she going to Timnath. Let me see where that at. And he turned unto her by the way. Okay, when Judah saw her, and she put her widow garment off from her and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself and sat in an open place, meaning the open place meaning so everybody can see. She wide open in it. Anyway, so she sat in the open place, which is by the way of Timnath, the same way that Judah was going. So Judah ended up sinning. Judah went into her. He ended up getting a staff and something else. But she ended up conceiving. She ended up getting pregnant. But he was going to get her, he said he was going to get her a kid out of the flock. And she asked, what will you give me? What will you give me until you give me the kid? He gave her the staff. I think it was a ring. And a necklace, I think. I'm just guessing. Y'all can go back and read it. I'm just throwing the things I try to freshen up your mind before we move on to chapter 40. So in chapter 38, but he did slept with her, his daughter-in-law, and he ain't knew that was his daughter-in-law, but she knew that was him. So she conceived, and he heard about it, and they called her, said she played the harlot, and a harlot is like a prostitute, a whore. You know, that's why she took off her widow stuff and covered herself up. She had dressed it like a prostitute, a whore, because she went inside in the opening to sell. And he sent the Adulamite back to take the kid to her, to the prostitute that was sitting in the open area, and to get his staff and stuff back. But when he went there, he didn't see her, and the men of the city and told them there was no prostitute standing there. There was no prostitute out in the open. So the word get back to Judah that his daughter-in-law had played the whore. But he knew it was the whore that he slept with. They told her she was pregnant. So he called for her, brother. And she told them whoever this stuff right here belongs to is the man who got him pregnant. And Judah said she was more righteous than him. because he's supposed to be gave his younger son to her. And he said she was more righteous than he was. But he never slept with her again. Never. Now in 39, it moved back to Joseph. Remember, Joseph was being sold. He was brought down to Egypt at Potiphar. Let me get this man's name. I probably be getting to pronounce another word, ain't it? They don't show the thing so it can sound at all. Here we go. Potiphar. That's his name. Okay, so in chapter 39, Joseph was brought down to Egypt and sold to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officers. And Joseph ended up rising in Potiphar's house, becoming big in his household. Potiphar put him over a lot of over mostly everything around, except for his wife. He put him over everything except for his wife. But the wife wanted to try to sleep with Joseph, and Joseph wouldn't have it. So one day he went in when the man worker was in there, and she grabbed a hold of his coat, the coat. He grabbed a hold to his coat, and she told him to sleep with him, but he ran out and left his coat. And she switched it all up like, oh God did Emmett Till. Lied. And they end up throwing and when Potiphar came back, he ended up putting, he already the captain of the guard, so he ended up putting him in the jail and looking over him. So when that happened, remember he got sold when he was 17 years old. And we finna find out exactly how old he was when he got out of jail, how long he been in Egypt. When their brother them sold him off. And then the Ishmaelite came and brought him to Egypt and sold him down at a Potiphar. So he was sold down there, and then the two let me see. Yeah, that's it. After she caught him, he put him up in jail. It say verse 20, and Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound. and he was there in the prison, but the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy, which he did. And let's see, we at the end. I'm going to read 21, 22, and 23 to bring us into verse 40. Chapter 40. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 39, verse 21. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. So the Lord gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. I don't need to be saying that because this end, y'all can go back and read it. And the keeper of verse 22, and the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph hand all the prison that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. Verse 23. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. The Lord was always with Joseph, and he made him to prosper whatever his hand touched it. He made him to prosper. So now y'all open up to your King James Version with the Apocrypha to Genesis chapter 40, and we will begin. Everybody there say con. Okay, here we go. This is the book of Genesis chapter 40, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. So after all this went down with Joseph, he'd been processing it in his thing. So he in prison. So I don't know how long he been in there right now, but it came to pass, meaning it came to pass that the butler and that baker had made Pharaoh mad, pissed Pharaoh off. They had offended him. Okay. Verse 2. And Pharaoh was wroth, meaning he was angry. He was very angry against two of his officers, and that was the butler and that was the baker. He was angry at two of the officers, his two high chief officers. They the high chief, the butler and the baker. Continue with verse 2. Against the chief of the butler, I told you, it's against the chief of the butler, and against the chief of the baker. So we already know the chief mean the top dog. What's word that word Shema? I think that was that word Shema, meaning chief. Verse 3. And he put them in ward, meaning he put them in custody, in the house of the captain of the guard, in the prison, the place where Joseph was bound, where captain confined, where Joseph was confined at. Okay, he said, and he put them in the ward, in the house of the captain. What captain? The captain, Joseph Master. I was looking for something. So he put him in war with Joseph master. Same place Joseph, where Joseph master, the captain, put him at. He in the same place. Verse 4. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them. So he put Joseph over them. He charged Joseph with them. Move faster. Having an electric charge. It ain't the one. The man and amount as a price from someone. Nope, that ain't the one. I read it the other day, accused. Yeah, number 3. It was number 3. Entrust someone with a task as a duty or responsibility. So he charged Joseph with them, meaning he put Joseph over them to watch over them. Had a task. He had a task, a duty, responsibility. And he served them, and they continued a season in the war. So they was locked up for a season. I don't know how long Joseph been in there, but they was in there for a season. Remember, Joseph got sold at the age of 17. I don't know how long he was with his master before his master put him in war, locked him up in prison. I don't know how long, a year or two, I don't know. But remember, he was 17 when he was sold off. Let's continue. Verse number 5. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. So one night, the butler and the baker, they had a dream. Both of them had their own separate dream. They both dreamed a dream in that same night. Verse 6. Oh, okay. Verse 6. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. They were sad. Verse 7. And he asked Pharaoh's officer that were with him in the ward of his Lord's house, saying, wherefore look ye so sadly today? So he asked the butler and the baker, why y'all look so sad today? Verse 8. And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretation belongs to God? Tell me them, I pray you. So remember, God is always with him, and he know that. God made him prosper in everything he do, and he already can interpret a dream anyway. Remember, he was interpreting his own dream. That's why his brother them had hatred in their heart for him. They had an evil eye towards him. Deuteronomy 28 and 54, I think. Thou shalt not have an evil eye towards thy brother. Yeah, that's what they had against him. Because he already can interpret a dream. He already can tell you about a dream. So the Most High was with him the whole time. Even when he was with his brother. The Most High that did this. They sent him into this. For what? We're going to find out for what. Why did the Most High put on Joseph's brothers them hard to sell them, to hate them? Why did the Most High sent Joseph down there to Egypt? We're going to find all that out. Let's continue. So, but Joseph had told me, he told him the interpretation belongs to God. So he said, tell me, I pray you. Now, when he told them that with interpretation belongs to God, God is with him. But don't you know that we are God's too? Not everybody, not the whole world. The Israelites, they are God's too. He called you God. And the scripture can be changed. That's in I think that's in Psalm 86. Matter of fact, let's go to it. That's why he had told him, I pray, tell me them, I pray you. Because he know he a God too. He can interpret that dream. What that was. Might be 82. It's 82. The book of Psalm, chapter 82, verse 6. I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Who he talking about? He talking about the Israelite. And he called them God. He said, I have said that you are God, and all of you are the children of the Most High. Every Israelite are a child of the Most High. That's God saying this. What the other one was? John 9. I can't remember, but it's one in the New Testament too, with Jesus saying, he said, Jesus said, how he said, I'm a brute to it. He said, for he have called you gods, and the scripture can't be changed, rewritten, or some. I think that was in John. I can't remember exactly. But let's continue. Let's go back to where we were, to Genesis chapter 40. And we're going to be in verse 9. But he do not, interpretation belongs to God. Tell me them, I pray you. Verse 9. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph and said to him, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me. Verse 10, y'all listen good. Read good with y'all eyes. Read along. Listen to this. Read it slowly. If you have to, get an understanding of it. Get the visual in your head. Because this book don't do nothing but get better and better. Especially when you wake up to the truth, knowing who you are. Knowing that you're not an African American, knowing that you're not a Hispanic, knowing that you're not a Native American, knowing that you're not a Negro. This thing get very excited, and you will feel chills come upon you, because that's the spirit. That's the spirit, bear witness. Let's continue. Verse 10. And in the vine were 3 branches. So it was a vine before them. And in that vine, it was 3 branches. And it was as though it budded. Now we know what budding means. Like the beginning of spring, stuff start budding out. You start getting buds of flower to come out and they'll blossom out. I mean, they'll bloom, blossom out. But the buds are the buds that get them started. Let's get the definition of budding. How about that?
Bud.
Of a plant or animal from a bud. New blood vessel bud out from the visceral bed. Graft, a bud of a plant onto another plant. In the Bible, budding mostly famously refers to the miraculous sprouting of Aaron's rod, which symbolized dividing approval and life from the dead. More generally, the term signifies growth, renewal, and divine selection, representing God's power to bring life to the lifeless and fulfill his promise. So like I said, budding meaning like it's a new form of a renewal of a divine selection, new growth. That's the better way to say it. Budding is like new growth. So 10 again from the top. And in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossom shot forth, meaning they spread it, they blossom out. The flowers look beautiful now. Beautiful. It say, her blossom shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grape. So it was a grape vine with 3 branches on it. And the bud that came out, it's a start as a flower. And when it sprouted, when it blossomed and shot forth, the cluster thereof brought forth ripe grapes. Grapes, what you eat. So there was a fruit tree, a fruit plant. 1 vine, 3 branches. Remember that, 1 vine, 3 branches. Because that 3 gonna mean something. Let's continue. Verse 11. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. Remember, he telling his dream. This the butler. And I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup. And I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. So the butler took the grapes, what budded out on the thing. This in his dream. And he crushed them, made grape juice. That's what he did. He pressed down on them, squeezed the juice out of them, and he poured it into Pharaoh's cup and gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Verse 12. And Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. Now Joseph finna give him the interpretation of the dream. Joseph finna tell me the dream now. The same dream what he just told him, Joseph finna break it down to him, explain it to him. Continuing chapter 4 to verse 12. The 3 branches are 3 days. So the 3 branches that was upon the 1 vine is 3 days. That means 3 days. Verse 13. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head and restore thee unto the place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand. after the former manner when thou wasn't when thou wasn't his butler. When thou was his butler. So Joseph told him 3 days. The 3 branches mean 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh gonna lift up thy head. And he gonna restore him back in his position. And thou shalt deliver the cup. When he said he pressed the grapes into Pharaoh's cup and handed Pharaoh back the cup, handed Pharaoh his cup. He's saying thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand. In the former manner when thou was his butler. So he gonna restore the butler back to his position, what Joseph told him, in 3 days. In 3 days. Let's continue. Verse 14. But think on me. Now Joseph telling him, but think on me when it shall be well with thee, when it good with you. When you get in your position, he restore you back to your position. Think on me. Think about me. Let's see what else he said about that. And show kindness, I pray thee, unto me. He said, think about him. Show kindness. I pray thee unto me. And make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. He told him to make mention. Make mention of him to Pharaoh. Tell Pharaoh about me. What you want him to tell? Let's see what else goes on. Verse 15. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrew. He told the butler, when you be restored, be kindness to me. Show me kindness. Make mention of me to Pharaoh, because I was stolen out of the land of the Hebrew. He wasn't stolen out of the land of the Hebrew. I don't know why he won't say, but he wasn't stolen. But you know, his brother done sold him. So let's continue. Come on, flip back. Verse 15 again from the top. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrew, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. So he said he was stolen from the land of the Hebrew, and while he in Egypt, he ain't did nothing. And they still put him in the dungeon. But he ain't do nothing. Verse 16. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. So he had 3 white baskets. So when the chief baker saw that the dream was good, what he told, the interpretation, what he gave to the butler was good. So he told him his dream. He said he was also was in his dream. And behold, he had 3 white baskets. Remember what he said, the 3 branches on that vine were 3 days. So he got 3 white baskets on his head. Okay, Mom. So that means that's 3 days. That got to be 3 days. Let's continue. He said, I had 3 white baskets on my head, verse 17, and in the uppermost basket there was of all manner of baked meats, meaning baked goods. There was all types of baked stuff in it. For Pharaoh. It was for Pharaoh. He the 3 baskets that the baker had on top of his head. And the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. The bird ate them out of the basket upon the head. Verse 18. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet, verse 19, yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee. That ain't what he said for the butler. He said, yet, verse 19 again from the top, yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. So in that dream, where he said he had 3 white baskets upon his head, and he said in the uppermost basket, there was all types of manner of baked meat. Joseph said that, and he said, oh, hold on, before we go there. He said, uppermost basket was of all manners of baked meats. For Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. Now, when he's mentioned baked meat, and then when you read on down, Joseph said that the birds are gonna eat his flesh. So that the bake, all the different types of baked meats was in that basket, that uppermost basket was a symbolized of his flesh. Because the birds, when they're eating the basket up off his head, eating the baked meats out of the basket up off his head, but that symbolizing that the birds were going to eat his flesh when Pharaoh hanged him. Wow. This man is a genius with this interpretation of the dream. Because I wouldn't have got that. Now, when I first came in the truth and I read that, it sunk a spark in me, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it like that. I got it better than when I was in the. I got it better for when I was in, before I got into the truth. You know, that Christianity, I ain't understand none of it. But when I did learn it, when God took the delusion off from me, and I started seeing the truth of this Bible, I seen it, but I still want to take that being his flesh being eaten. If I wouldn't have read it like that, I still want to know that he was going to eat the man that was death. That symbolized death. Flesh, that meat. Because his flesh is meat. And it had all types of baked meats in there, in the upper basket. All types of baked meat. Not one type of baked meat, not 2 types of baked meat. I thought it was first bread. Not that. It had all different types of baked meat. Let's continue. Verse 18, and Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree. and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. Well, I ain't know you woke back there, grandson. You back there quiet, boy. Verse 20. And it came to pass the third day, he said 3 days. Both of them had a dream, and both of them had 3 things. And he had 3 baskets, he had 3 branches. It came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday. Now, birthday, which was Pharaoh's birthday. Pharaoh is a what? A heathen. Pharaoh what? It's an Egyptian. Pharaoh is not an Israelite. You know I got to say something on it. Let me read it first. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. So, verse 20 mentioned it was Pharaoh's birthday. Pharaoh's birthday. Pharaoh is the king of Egypt. Pharaoh is a heathen. Pharaoh is from the Hamites. Now, we've been reading this. We already know what Egyptian is. They from the Hamites. The Canaanites, the Egyptian, the Ammonites, not the Ammonites. Yeah, no, not the Ammonites. It's the, what's the other one? It started with an A too, I can't remember. But he said in 3 days was Pharaoh's birthday. And he made a big feast unto his servant. And he lifted up the head of his chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. Now, birthday, I used to wonder why when I first came in the truth, why they say we don't celebrate birthdays. When you read, you'll see. Birthday ain't mentioned number 3 times in this whole Bible. And when it mentioned by it's of the heathen. Like we just read that Pharaoh birthday. And the other one gonna be when it mentioned birthday again, it gonna mention it 2 more times. But the last 2 times it mentioned, it's still the one person, and that's Herod. That's in the New Testament. So you got birthday mentioned in the Old Testament, and you got birthday mentioned in the New Testament. But they're not Israelite. Herod, what Herod was? From the Romans. Herod's from the Romans. And what Pharaoh is? Egypt. And what is the Roman? What people is the Roman? They was you could say they was I ain't gonna even say that. But they are the so-called white man, Esau them. Yeah. And the time when it mentioned about in the New Testament birthday, it say Matthew chapter 14, verse 6. That's what it is. But when Herod's birthday was kept, Herodes, the daughter of Herodes, danced before them and pleased Herod. So the time that it is been mentioned in this Bible, 3 times it came up. Out of them 3 times, it's only the heathen. So why are you celebrating a birthday? Y'all always hollering about We're not jumping off subject. I just wanted to express this. Y'all always hollering about my born day. Your born date was, like, my born date was March 23rd, 1977. That's your only born date. All them other days come around when they come back around. That ain't the day that ain't when you were born. You were born March. I was born March 23rd, 1977. That's March 23rd, 1978. That's March 23rd, 1979. I wasn't born now one of them years. I was born March 23rd, 1977. My born date. And you had Job cursing that. You had, I don't get me the line or don't get me the fiddle, but it is in the New Testament. Somebody else cursed it. We don't celebrate birthdays. This man put up, it say, and it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast. Then you had, like I said, we have to read this for ourselves. Like I said, I know even Israelites said, well, I take myself out to eat. What this man just said, made a feast. If you taking yourself out to eat, you making a feast. You celebrating your birthday. And I did that one time. I did that one time until I had to read it over and over again for myself. And I'm like, wait a minute. Birthday mentioned 3 times out of this whole Bible. And the 3 times it mentioned, it's talking about heathens. Herod and Pharaoh. I put a thought in my head. No wonder they said we don't supposed to be celebrating birthday. Now they say about it, he made a feast. If you take yourself out to dinner, that's feasting. So regardless, you celebrate that day. You celebrate a day you wasn't born on. It said it, I can't think who that was, cursed the day I was born. I know it was in Job. I can't remember. And everybody's birthday, what they doing? Listen, I'm going to read 20 again. Y'all got to take a grasp of this because we do not supposed to be celebrating birthday. Look what he doing. He take you have a feast, and you're going to read on it what else happened. Verse 20 again from the top. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And what we do? We invite our folks over to our house. We bring the kids over. We got a birthday. And we make a what? A feast. Y'all doing the same thing. We did the same thing. I ain't going to just say y'all because I did it too. We did the same thing. We made a feast. And same thing what this man did. And he lifted up the head of his chief butler. He going to restore him. And he lifted up the end of the chief baker among his servants. Let's go to 21 and see what's going on. Verse 21. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again. So he put the chief butler back in his position. Remember he said he pressed the grapes into Pharaoh's cup. And he handed the Pharaoh back the cup. And Joseph said he'll be back in his spot. He's going to lift up the head and put you back in your spot. You're going to be back like you was. Back in the manner you was, waiting on Pharaoh. Let's continue. Verse 21, it said, and he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Just the same what he said in the dream, the same thing what Joseph said. And look what happened. Joseph told him that he's going to restore you back in your spot, and you'll be back in the manner of what you've been and waiting on Pharaoh. And that's what it just said. Verse 22. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. So he hanged the chief baker. Birthdays. He made a feast and he killed on his birthday. Because he hanged the chief butler. He made a feast and he killed. Just as Joseph said, what he was going to do though. Verse 23, yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. And the chief butler still ain't remember when Joseph told him, show him kindness, mention him to Pharaoh. The chief butler ain't even think about it. Now, how long would it be before the chief butler do mention it to him? We still wondering how long have Joseph been in Egypt, away from his folks, his family, away from his land. But y'all see, at birthdays, we don't supposed to be celebrating. Y'all might as well gonna do the same thing what Pharaoh did. And then we make it so bad, let's get with a precept. What Herod did. Okay, we're gonna start with verse 6. Verse 6. The book of Matthew, chapter 14, verse 6. But when Herod's birthday was kept, meaning celebrated, when his birthday was celebrated, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. Verse 7, whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. This is his birthday. So Herodias, how you pronounce her name again? Herodias. The daughter of Herodias danced before Herod, and it pleased Herod. He liked that. And whereupon he had promised with an oath to give her whatsoever would she ask. Verse 8, and she being before, means she was instructed, well, it read right here, being prompt before. Being before instructed of her mother told her that. This wicked shit. Pardon my family, but this some wicked stuff. And these are heathen, not Israelite. He said, verse 8 again from the top, and she, being before instructed of her mother, said, give me here John Baptist's head in a charger. Mean on a platter. A platter which y'all be putting that check it out. That platter what you put the what you just had that you can say that ham, that turkey, that platter there. That's what she was saying. Now what he did. What this the thing that Herod did in his for his birthday. The same thing Pharaoh did. They had a feast. You know they had a feast. If she danced for them, it was his birthday. And she asked for her mother told her to ask for the head of John, your brother. And they cut John's head off and handed it to him on a platter. And this the birthday that y'all celebrate. This what y'all be celebrating. See, y'all got to understand what it is. Y'all need to pick up a book and go through it and read it. You need to pick this up right here. Not a book. Pick up the Bible, the Holy Bible. The King James Version I prefer. With the Apocrypha. Because y'all lost. We lost as a people, man. We lost as a people. If I go on my Facebook page, and I got a Facebook page for the Stay in Touch with my family, and post some of these things like right here, what I'm doing, trying to get the word out, I don't get no views. I might get 1 or 2 likes. But did they watch it? But did they read their Bible and try to? No, our people do not consider. First, Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. Our people do not consider. But you can flip that page over. Every time you scroll, we got a beautiful Israelite woman exposing herself. Then we just said, then we just call somebody a harlot. That's what y'all do. That's what our Israelite women do. They expose themselves. And you wonder why you are single. Don't nobody, man. Don't nobody want to hear that, oh, I don't need no man. Don't nobody want to hear that, because yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, the fuck you do. But you will not get no hook. Even if you do got a man. Did he marry you? I ain't gonna say put a ring on, because that ain't our logo. We don't do that. That's not in our nation. Putting rings on it. That came from the world. That came from the white man. Some tradition man made shit. You didn't hear one time nobody put no ring on nobody's finger in him. No, you didn't. But if you do got a man, he just a man. He might be sleeping with you, him. I mean, might be sleeping with you, her. And you might be sleeping with him and everybody else too. Because y'all not trustworthy. Y'all not even you just girlfriend or boyfriend. Well, we say sex is marriage. Because what we've been reading, when you go into that woman became your wife. But our people do not want to hear that. Our people do not want the truth. They do not want to hear the truth. Our people want to do what they want to do. And they think this not just only the women. This go for men too. For men too. Don't none of us want to own up to our shit and accept it. And ask God to forgive us so we can walk straight. But as I was saying, man, they expose themselves. What, man, me personally, you on Facebook, and every time you got your own page and your own YouTube, all that, and you go into your thing, and every time you flip through, you got little shorts on, shaking your booty. What God said in the scripture, God said men gonna become lovers of themselves, meaning women too. Cause you all was man until Adam named you woman. God called you a man. Adam one gave you that woman. But that's what they do. Gonna be lovers of their own self. I'm talking about, I was scrolling through it the other day. This woman looked like she was in her 40s, maybe her late 40s. Looked good, looked damn good. But she all in there with shorts on. I'm talking about the crack, and you see the rim, the apple bottom of they, you know how they little shorts be in the, you know the apple bottom, you know what I'm talking about. The Georgia tuck, the apple bottom, the Georgia tuck. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And she's all in flashing, what he said, lovers of themselves. That's what the Bible say, men's gonna become lovers of themselves. And this tall, even this tall one, she tall. I think she's 6. She's 6 something, but she tall. Look good. I know a lot of people don't like tall women. I don't have no problem with them. I don't, but she look good, nice shape. Stay in something tight, tucked up in her boot top. And man, it looked like she had surgery on one of her thing, or it might be just real good and tucked like that. But that do not make you look good. Cause that ain't gonna make a man want that. You know what y'all expose yourself as that harlot. And the only thing that man gonna wanna do is have sex with you. Yeah, he'll throw you a couple dollars. Cause that's all you worth. Y'all don't sit around and act like y'all worth more than that. Y'all hate y'allself. You hate the brother man, you hate the sister man, because you hate yourself. Why I say that? Why you got to go eyelashes, makeup? They go for the men too. They put makeup on. So you hate yourself. You don't like what God created. But everybody love God. You draw nigh to him with your mouth, but your hearts are far away from him. But I just wanted to get some of that off. But that was the end of Genesis chapter 40. And we will pick back up with Genesis 41, maybe later on today. But man, I want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, for allowing us to read this word, man. I want to thank him for blessing us for today. Especially me seeing another day. Thank you. You got to give praise. You got to thank him for allowing you to see another day, for allowing you to be here today. Cause what? Just like that. One day you're here, the next day you're gone. We live in the last day, folk, and I pray that my nation, my people, start being concerned about who you are. Find out about yourself. You are a child of God. What he say? Psalm 82. For you are God, and all y'all are the children of the Most High. Israel, Israel, Israel. With that being said, man, grandson, I have my grandson sitting down here. I don't know what he want to do. But Israel, man, it was nice speaking these words to y'all. Y'all giving me y'all ear. Because he said, if a man have an ear, let him hear. Y'all need to start hearing and hearkening. But I am Israel, a true seeker of Yahweh. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Get on the line with your brother Nehemiah. And let's talk. With that being said, family, Kwame Yasharala, and y'all have a blessed morning. Because I'm finna lay it down. Kwame Yasharala.